Well, I think the first thing I always want to say about reconciliation is that reconciliation is incredibly elusive, because reconciliation is a dynamic. It's not a static thing. We often talk about the metaphor of journey, but it's more a meeting place where issues of peace and justice and truth and mercy come together and create a space which we call reconciliation. And that is extremely difficult and extremely elusive. Most processes where people are looking for reconciliation are often driven by one of those four things. People are out for justice, people are out for truth. People sometimes are just war weary and looking for peace. Rarely are people out for mercy and being willing to offer forgiveness. So reconciliation, the coming together of those four things, is extremely elusive and extremely hard work. The second thing I often say about reconciliation is that it is always contingent as well. There's an eschatological dimension for reconciliation for Christians. We see it most complete on the cross of Christ, because that is where God's truth and mercy and justice and peace come together. And it will be unveiled in all its glory when Christ is revealed in the Parousia. As we move towards that moment, we bear witness to it. But even our best efforts are always momentary, they're contingent. If you look at our own personal lives, we come to the Eucharist, we find ourselves open to God, His searching light of reconciliation, of truth, and His offer of mercy to us as sinners. And we feel that sense of being reconciled with God. But no sooner do we get up from the altar rail than we turn around and we see the person we had the row with last week, or the family member upset us, or whatever. And that moment of reconciliation is already gone. So it is elusive, it is contingent, but it is profoundly critical. It is, for me, the heart of what the mission of God in the world is about, that God was in Christ, reconciling all things. And therefore, it is essential that it is at the heart of the life of the church, about how we live together, how we bear witness to the world, and what it is we actually have to offer to the world. Ultimately, Christian faith is a story. It's a story about Jesus. It's about God, about His love for us, about His coming to this world as one of us, of taking the initiative as the offended, as the one from whom we have broken away and are at enmity with. And my favourite definition of reconciliation is by Stanley Hauerwas, who says, reconciliation is when my enemy tells me my story in such a way as I'm able to say, yes, that is my story. And he then goes on to say, somewhat shockingly, therefore God is our greatest enemy. Because God comes and tells us our story. The one that we are in enmity with tells it in all its brokenness, but in all its potential, becomes one of us. And through His life and cross and resurrection and coming again, reconciles all things. So for me, that's what reconciliation is about. And that's what we are trying to weave ourselves into, God's story of reconciliation in the world and with the world. And that is the mission of the church.